I'd like to make a toast.
I'd like to say something that I prepared tonight. Hello. How about that ride in? I guess that's why they call it Sin City. You guys might not know this, but I consider myself a bit of a loner. I tend to think of myself as a one-man wolf pack on this podcast. But when I went to college and met Nick, I knew he was one of my own. And my wolf pack, it grew by one. So there were two of us in the wolf pack. I was alone first in the pack on the podcast, and then Nick joined in later. And 2 months ago, when people started following this podcast, I thought, wait a second, could it be? And now I know for sure I just added all of you to my wolf pack. All of us wolves running around the desert together in LA, talking about movies and looking for cocaine. So tonight, I make a toast.
Oh my God! Don't do that, Gabe. Oh.
Blood brothers.
Ooh.
Gentlemen, you can't fight in here. This is the war room.
You can't handle the truth. King Kong ain't got shit on me. I am the third revelation.
I am so much crazier than you.
I am the one who knocks.
Go ahead. Make my day.
Best thing, big boy, huh? That's Brock. Fucking
Everybody on? Good. Great. Grand. Wonderful.
Welcome to Facing Off. This is a podcast where Gabe and I take two movies that we find to be similar in some way and compare, contrast, and rate them. The CCR method, as we call it. I'm Nick, and this is my co-host, Gabe.
I'm not your co-host. I'm an extremely hot chick. What's up, Nick?
Nothing much, man. How are you?
Doing all right. Kind of wish that we didn't just spend the last hour and a half watching Dude, Where's My Car?
It was an hour and 20 minutes.
Hour and 20 minutes is fair.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty nice. I respect the brevity.
Yeah, it was good. It could have been worse.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, yeah, it could have been worse. Definitely.
How was your weekend, man?
It was good. It was a 3-day weekend.
Whoa.
So
Shout out soldiers.
It added an extra day to the weekend. So then there were 3 days in the weekend. So it was good. I didn't sleep though. I didn't really sleep much.
Yeah,
it wasn't a restful weekend. What about yours?
I'm about to take care of a cat for 7 days, so I don't plan on sleeping ever. But it's a cute little puss.
Oh God! All right.
My weekend was fine. It was mostly uneventful.
Sounds like all your weekends.
Yeah, I saw Honey Boy. It was really good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Shia LaBeouf is a treasure, and we need to protect him at all costs. And I strongly believe that. I love that dude, and I used to love Even Stevens, and it makes you kind of sad about the period of time that he was filming that and like what he was going through. Super good.
Wow.
But honestly, let's turn it to a comedic note.
Sure. Yeah. Why don't we?
Before we get in, a little disclaimer.
Right.
Not that it really would matter with these two movies, but we're not experts and we don't claim to be experts on stupid comedies.
Right.
This is just our opinion. We're obviously open to all opinions. Keep giving us feedback. Super funny reviews. Love the review from Danny, the little like one sentence review. Loved even more the review from Luis. Hey man, we got your fix. We're about to give you that podcast, buddy. But if you haven't already, please go to, and you listen to this podcast, please go to Apple. Give us a rate, give us a review.
Rate,
it really helps us.
Review.
Review,
yep,
yeah.
Perfect.
And then last, spoiler alert, we're going to spoil these movies. Yep. If you haven't seen either, it's fine. Probably if you haven't seen Dude, Where's My Car? You didn't have a good childhood if you didn't see that movie.
Should, though.
But everyone's probably seen The Hangover.
It's a fun rewatch.
Yeah, it was great.
Dude, Where's My Car? That is.
Oh yeah, both of them are.
The Hangover is always fun.
Yeah, it's a very.
So those are the two movies that we're going to go over. And I just want to thank everyone again for joining us as we CCR these two movies.
Sick.
Compare, contrast, and rate.
I love Creedence Clearwater Revival.
We compare, contrast, and rate 2 movies tonight that chronicle the aftermaths of debaucherous nights full of drugs and alcohol and aliens. Dude, Where's My Car follows Jesse and Chester, 2 stoners who destroy their twin girlfriend's home and then foil. None of you can see this because this is a podcast, but my handwriting is bad.
Yeah.
I can't even read my own
the old
stuff.
medical notebook handwriting.
Yeah, I do. But anyways, Jesse and Chester foil the plans of some alien supermodels. It's a whole thing. Those supermodels are hell-bent on world destruction, but Jesse and Chester, the heroes of the story, foil their plans with an assist from some Eastern European buddies.
Yeah. Alley-oop.
The Hangover follows Stu, Phil, and Alan as they go to Vegas for a bachelor party and then wake up in Vegas, unsure of what they've done the night before. Over the course of a little while, they discover that they've lost their best friend, almost delayed his wedding, lost a tooth, gained a baby, gained a tiger, kidnapped a racist caricature, and so on and so forth. Eventually, they figure it all out. They find Doug, and they go to his wedding.
Classic.
They get there in the nick of time. It's classic.
That's great. Yeah, the reason why based off of that joint synopsis, thank you, Nick, that we're comparing these two is just they're both absolute classics about people who got way too fucked up the night before and can't remember anything.
They're
and
just
then they go on an adventure.
The movie's about discovering what you did.
It's also a perfect time to do this because Todd Phillips' new movie, Joker, his second serious movie. War Dogs is kind of a comedy, but Joker is about to hit $1 billion. And so this is just a perfect time for that. So he's just the best R-rated movie director ever. Because The Hangover is is the most successful R-rated comedy. And both movies have Cleo King. So there's your little bridge there. Cleo King
the MVP.
Is the star. She's the MVP, of course.
She's the MVP.
She's played a cop in 3 of our 3 comedies we've both seen. Dude, Where's My Car, this, and Pineapple Express.
You almost said favorite comedies, but Dude, Where's My Car?
But Pineapple Express and The Hangover, they're up there.
Sweet.
So we're going to get into our categories. First, our rating system, just to reiterate. I know there's been a little bit of confusion. We go on a 7. Our scale goes 1 to 7. And that is because it's a
Likert scale. Look it up.
Yeah. It's because we need a middle number. And then 9 would almost be more random and it's too far away. But you could think about it this way. This is the best way to look at it. 1 is bad. 2 is well below average. 3 is slightly below average. 4 is neutral or average. 5 is slightly above average, and then above average, and then 7 being great. So we're going to use our normal 7-point scale, I guess.
Yeah.
And then, since we're doing comedies for the first time, and we're going to laugh, we think that comedies should be almost like reviewed and rated in a different way. Just to be fair.
Yeah, our other 5, our normal 5 don't apply as well to comedies, and we're doing 2 comedy.
It almost reminds
2 comedies in a row, 2 comedy matchups in a row. So we needed to revamp some things for these couple episodes, and then moving forward, we'll tweak
reminds
it as we
me
go.
of in Superbad when he's talking about how when Evan is talking about how he wishes his porn would have cool camera shots, and Jonah Hill's character Seth is like, I'm sorry, Evan, that the Coen brothers don't direct the pornos that I watch. So we're going to switch up our categories a little bit. We're going to do a little twist on spectacularity. We're going to do hilarity because we're fucking clever.
Yeah, the puns are good.
And then we'll do acting, typically as we typically do. Originality. And then with legacy, we're going to talk about how well it ages. We'll explain as we go. And then our last one, which we think applies to every comedy, is quotability and rewatchability.
Right.
So
and we'll save quotability for last.
Yeah, definitely. So let's start it off, Nicholas,
man.
with spectacularity.
Dude, sweet.
If you've been listening to this podcast, spectacularity usually means how engaging the movie was, whether you were looking at your phone, were you distracted, Or were you really into the movie and you weren't worried about the runtime? You just wanted to watch every second.
Right.
So our little twist with Spectacularity kind of talks about like how a comedy works in terms of engagement. Like how funny was it? How consistently funny was it?
Right.
Is it well balanced? If there are non-funny scenes, is there enough going on in the movie to keep you into the movie?
Yeah,
if there's
exactly.
not that.
Exactly.
And then how many like laugh out loud moments does it have? Or,
Right.
maybe there's none at all and you just give a good chuckle the whole way through.
Yeah. Which
so
would
we'll talk
both,
about that.
yeah, both of those things would count for like a pretty, it could be a high score.
Started up with The Hangover.
With The Hangover.
Yeah.
Okay. Man, I'm very curious to see what you gave this because I changed this a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
I saved rating The Hangover until we watched Dude, Where's My Car, so I could have
That's a fair assessment.
have a little like
That's the point
comparison.
of this podcast.
So it's like how we designed this or whatever. So that's cool. I gave The Hangover a 7.
I gave it a 7.
Did you really? I kind of thought you would.
Yeah.
It's because of everything you just said. It checks all the boxes. Like it's
Yeah.
not.
There's not a lost moment.
No,
I tried to think of one.
There isn't.
Because we have accolades.
Especially not the first time you see it, because and you
Totally.
were saying
Oh, I
like
agree.
you were saying at the beginning of this, like, oh, we're not going to spoil anything. But if you haven't seen The Hangover, we actually legitimately could spoil some things because there's a ton of surprises the first time you watch that movie.
Well, I remember seeing the trailer to this movie.
Right.
And I thought, oh, we're going to see the epic night in Vegas. And the trailer, was purposely being ambiguous about what happened the night before. And you don't. Well, you
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
in the credits, and we'll
Yeah.
talk about that.
It's just so brilliant.
Yeah. But I agree. I just think this is like, I don't know a single person who hasn't watched this multiple times. At least one of our friends that hasn't watched this multiple
No.
times. It's so rewatchable.
No.
I'm always fully engaged. It's probably one of the best. I have cable now, but for a while I didn't have cable, but it's one of those comedy movies
Yeah.
that's always on
It's always on
HBO or on cable.
TBS.
Yeah. And you're going to sit there and watch it, even though they blurred out all the best
Yeah.
parts. Yeah, go ahead. Like, explain a little bit why you gave it a 7 besides that.
Yeah, I mean, it's everything you're saying, and a lot of the scenes that aren't. If there's not a funny scene, and there's not too many that aren't funny, the like mystery of the movie,
It's so engaging.
is so perfect to hook you in that you don't even care if a scene. I mean, if it didn't appeal to your sensibilities or whatever, and you didn't like a scene, you're still in the background. There's like this, well, what happened to Doug? What did they do last night?
There are only
How did they
two-
end up like this?
Yeah.
It's great. And you don't even really ever know.
There are only
Sort
two
of.
other comedies I can think of this decade that do that. To a lesser degree, Pineapple Express, like you're really engaged with the story
Right.
because you really want to know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah.
And then Game Night, which like you're
yeah.
really into the mystery
good
of it
one.
and
Yeah.
it's funny.
Game Night is
yeah.
like that.
But yeah, that's a good point. I honestly, it's like for me, the pure insanity and chaos that is the villa that they rented for the night that you see in the morning and they wake up to with the insurmountable damage is just like makes the mystery so great because it's just it's not possible to do what they could have done to that hotel room over the course of a night. So it makes it like your mind is going crazy. And then it just like gets you so locked into the rest of the story. And that's like right at the beginning. That is the crux of the story.
Have you ever watched the movie and paused it during that part?
To look around?
Just to look at see?
No,
what
but like
kind of
I mentally,
shenanigans are there?
I have a crazy eidetic like memory. So I just remember very specific little things. And
What do you remember?
I mean, everything in it blows my mind. How they taped down arrows for the bowling alley to the champagne bottles and the different blow up dolls, the burnt chair that's just like
chair is good.
wafting with plumes of smoke.
Still? Just
Yeah.
hours of...
Honestly, incredible. Like art wise, that's like an incredible image.
It's like one of those... it's like one of those books, like when you were a kid, those I Spy books.
yeah.
That have like a zillion things, and it's
Yeah.
like, I spy 7 toy men.
Right.
And you're like, oh, where are the 7 toy men?
And they have like the Rubes Goldberg things like
Yeah,
through them.
exactly.
Yeah, I love those books. I think I still have those at home.
It's like that, but like really debaucherous.
I mean,
good.
besides that, there's just a reason it is the most successful R-rated comedy ever. It's just so rewatchable and funny, and we'll talk about some things that may have aged poorly in it, but it's
Yeah,
even though things have aged poorly, the humor of it hasn't aged poorly.
Right, it's still funny. It's just wildly inappropriate.
Yeah, you have to. I mean, there are just like random moments that are thrown in that keep it funny. Like something that always catches me off guard and I always laugh at. I know a lot of people, it's like when he's jerking off the baby and
He's jacking his little weenus.
and he's acting his little, but the way he gets Stu on it, when Stu's like really mad, he's like, "Ah." Dude, Alan, come on. But no, the one that always gets me, that I always forget about, is opening the door into the baby.
Oh,
When he opens the back seat of the cop car and he's like, dude, you just hit the baby. My glasses all right? Yeah, your glasses are fine, dick. I think it's okay, so if I had to say anything negative about it, out of the 7 that we're giving it, I'd say it's mildly hurt in engagement when you know where Doug is. Like, you know the mystery of it. It's kind of what we talked about with Gone Girl.
It's the Gone Girl effect. That's what we're going to call it from now on.
And they kind of shit on the story and the fun gimmick part of the story with the sequels. The sequels really hurt this movie.
Yeah,
in some ways, even though this movie still stands above them.
But I like to pretend they don't exist. So
yeah, I would say a perfect sum up for me about like why this movie is so engaging from start to finish is the line when he goes, "Oh, fuck, I keep forgetting about the goddamn tiger."
Yeah.
Because that's just like, you keep forgetting what the stakes of the movie are and the insanity of it, and it keeps it so funny. Do you have any last points before we move on?
No, I think we got it.
So that's a 7 from both of us for
Yes, I love
The Hangover for
that
spectacular hilarity.
I love that you gave it a 7. This is why we don't tell each other our scores
like
before.
it's impossible to not give it a 7.
Yeah.
It's so funny and so engaging.
No, I couldn't. I
It's a
put down a
great
6
story.
and I was like, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah, I maybe I won't be generous in other ones. We'll get to it.
Okay.
Spectacularity, hilarity for Dude, Where's My Car?
For Dude, Where's My Car?
Yeah.
Okay. What did you go first this time?
All right. So I gave it a 3.
Okay.
And I gotta say, so I think that Dude, Where's My Car was a great movie growing up. I think it's like when people saw that we posted this, everyone loves The Hangover, but there's a good amount of guys who grew up watching movies like Dude, Where's My Car, and it holds a special place in your heart, and you don't want it to be destroyed, but like it was a pretty bad movie.
Right.
But I think like we had fun. We watched it right before this, and we had fun during it. But I think I was just kind of bored for a lot of the time, and I think there are moments of excitement, but mostly my excited moments when I'm watching it, like the engaged moments, are like, oh my god, I forgot this is in the movie, or just like brought back memories of me, quoting this.
Yeah,
with
you
friends
said
and
like
stuff.
5 different times, oh my god, I love this scene.
I'd be like, oh fuck.
like look up from your phone for like 4 seconds, like, oh, I love this scene. It was great.
But that's a good point, because I was looking at my phone most of the time, taking notes for this, but I just wasn't as engaged. So I'm going to give it a 3. I have more notes, but what did you give it?
I gave it a 4, and the reason why is because if I compare it to other movies similar to it, and I mean like just like name some other like like idiot dude movies, like Dude, Where's My Car, that we watched when we were younger. Like
I don't know, I'm kind of blanking right now. Because like Idiocracy is an amazing movie.
Right. But I don't think that it's any more.
I think it actually helps that there's not.
Spectacular.
Oh, it's better than Smiley Face or whatever, the movie with Anna Faris where she's really high. It's like you can watch it for free on YouTube.
Yeah.
Whatever that movie.
Yeah,
is
that
called.
movie sucks.
It's not good. There's a lot of
I'm
these.
thinking about the
movies
movie like Black Knight with Martin Lawrence.
I love that movie,
That's
but I
great.
bet it's not good if I rewatch it.
It's not. It's probably not good if you rewatched it.
That's
so I'm
a
like,
really good
So I'm like, at
comparison.
least Dude, Where's My Car is like, it's because I watched it at the same sleepover as this movie. That's why I thought of Black
sick,
Knight.
dude. Sleepovers are tight.
I just think it's like it's average if you compare it to its peers.
Yeah.
Not counting The Hangover. Like if The Hangover is the pinnacle, I don't think that this falls all the way down to the bottom of the tree. You know what I mean?
I think there are movies that we're obviously forgetting, and I think that came out around that time, and I think that helps this. Because
Right.
it's like...
Exactly.
Here's what okay, so The Master of Disguise,
There you go.
tremendously awful movie.
Right.
But I could go up to almost anyone my age on the street and say, am I not turtly enough for the Turtle Club? And they would know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. So it's like some of these movies just stand.
It's like if you just went up and said Zoltan to someone and did the Zoltan symbol, someone's like, "Dude, where's my car?"
When we get to quotability, there are so many things that I still quote from this movie, and it's just like they're ingrained in my mind forever. I will say I gave it a 3, which is slightly below average, and that's some things that help it. There are random, hilarious things that are thrown into it. Nick and I audibly laughed at the very beginning when their roommate, sort of, Gene, comes out of the closet, and they're like, "Do you know that guy?" He's like, "I thought he was your friend," or something like that. That's like that joke has been used so many times, but it works so well.
I was just cracking up at the part where that dude comes in and he pees on the bush like plant behind them, and they're like are talking about something else, and then he leaves, and then Ashton Kutcher just pulls Febreze out of nowhere in the couch and just goes psst, psst,
yeah,
like
I
twice.
ate a lot of asparagus, I guess.
Yeah, makes this weird face, and then they just start talking again.
Yeah,
great.
There was also like the Christy Boners walking across the street, and the jackhammer just like jackhammering, and the water pipe bursting, and like
so dumb.
The driver doing the Zoltan sign while driving, and like having to get the wheel back
like super fast. Oh, it's so
a lot of it just revolves around them being morons, and I just think they're trying harder than movies like Dumb and Dumber, which for both of us, I just discovered before this, it's both of our favorite comedies of all time.
Right. It's just like this. Like I gave it a 4, not a 3, because like it's dumb. Like,
Yeah.
it's obviously really dumb, but it's very consistently dumb.
And
that's why I didn't think that there's not like a scene where I was like, okay.
The titles
This is
for the
the worst
characters,
thing ever.
the random titles for the characters, like Jeff or super hot giant alien is hilarious, or like the song that they bring in for the Zoltan group when they're all like in their bubbly wrap outfits.
The like robot song.
Yeah, whatever. I'm giving it a 3. Nick is giving it 4. And so let's move on to our next category. Our next category is acting. Acting is all about how good the acting was, how if the directing, writing, producing, whatever allowed the actors to work at the best of their abilities. With comedies, it's, I'm not looking for someone to be an Oscar-worthy performance.
No.
With comedy, it kind of is like you could tell when someone's just really bad at acting, and that's something I'm going to get to in a second. And the writing above everything, because you can have someone like Mark Wahlberg, who's not naturally a funny person in movies, be hilarious in Adam McKay movies, like the other guys, and or like in Ted, because the writing is so funny for him, and he delivers it well. But so that's what we're going to talk about with acting. Let's start with Dude, Where's My Car, since we're on it.
Should we do the pleasure now? And then maybe
So originally they were supposed to say blowjobs instead of pleasure. The extremely hot chicks were supposed to say blowjob, but then they changed it because it was PG-13.
What if we do the pleasure?
Not that anything else in the movie was
I get
appropriate.
the pleasure now, and then we'll talk about it, and then you get
Give
the pleasure.
me
at
the
end,
pleasure.
maybe.
Just talk about acting for Dude, Where's My Car for you.
Okay, for Dude, Where's My Car, the acting is a 3. Because it's bad mostly for a lot of it. For
It's
like
really
almost
bad.
everyone except Ashton Kutcher, who's just essentially just
Amazing.
Ashton Kutcher from everything that Ashton Kutcher's good in.
It's so wild that he
Except for the real world, because Ashton Kutcher's like the best human being
Exactly,
in the
that's what I
whole
was gonna
real
say.
world.
He's a great human being, and he is
Kutcher 2020.
an incredible tech investor. Like, he's one of the biggest investors in Silicon Valley right now. He's very smart. Yeah, okay.
It's just not good. Like, it's not, the movie's not well written. It's carried, like the performances, like the comedy in it is not really carried by like the writing or the performances. It's kind of carried by just how, like, I don't know if it's improv or what it is, but it's just like the randomness of it.
Yeah, the randomness.
I guess like things like the Zoltan.
That's
thing
good, like
are
director things that you put in there.
Yeah, I guess that's directing. I mean, so it's not like a 2 or a 1.
They were
It's
supposed to
not
have Jason
atrocious.
Reitman do this movie. The guy who made like Juno and
weird.
Up in the Air, I think. Like a bunch. Yeah.
Okay. Strange.
Ashton Kutcher definitely saves it for me. I gave it a 2, which is bad. I respect it as a comedy. I don't respect the acting and stuff in it. And I think for me, like, honestly, Ashton Kutcher almost didn't do this movie. He thought it was so dumb, but the tattoo scene when he read it in the script made him laugh so hard that he was like, all right, I'll do the movie. This is going to be fun. So
Is that really why he did it?
Yeah, I read that before. But honestly, I like Sean William Scott a lot.
Yeah.
I really like him in other movies. He's awful in
He's
this
so
movie.
bad in Dude, Where's My Car?
He's overdoing the moronic character. David Herman,
weird.
who plays Michael Bolton in Office Space. Remember, there's that whole joke about that?
Yeah.
He is awful as, I can't even remember what his name is in this. Nelson, the stoner friend with the dog.
Also
he
some
reminds me
weird-
so much of Steve Kroc. My old roommate, Carter Kroc's older brother. Shout out Steve Kroc. I hope you're listening. The Fabio cameo,
It's fantastic.
absolutely amazing.
Hilarious.
So well done. Amazing silent acting by him. We don't really need to go over much. The main extremely hot chicks girl is good. Charlie O'Connell's good. The German guys are good. The blind kids are so funny.
Those actors, child actors,
The chubby
know.
blind kid is so funny in this.
they are, even the other kid that's trying to swing the bat, like I don't know if it's on accident or what,
yeah.
but it's
Great.
funny in such an inappropriate way.
It's
great.
it didn't age well. We'll talk about that, but they're great. All the Zoltan people are great, including Zoltan
and Gail the Snail.
Yeah, and Gail the Snail. Shout out Mary Ragshub or whatever. She's from the
Gabe saw you
24.
in an elevator once.
Yeah, I was in an elevator with her one time, and she was going up to her floor. I think she was like filming something or going to an office, and the guy said, "What floor?" And she goes, 24, and then tried to hide her face because she's on the show 24, and my face lit up. It was dope. Also, incredible Andy Dick performance, as always. He's amazing. So that's a 2 from me. That's a 3 from Nick.
Yeah.
Let's do The Hangover acting.
Acting in The Hangover. Let's see, what did I write? I wrote a 6.
I gave it a 6 as well.
We agree.
Wow.
We both really like this movie.
Yeah, I've heard some takes from some people that we don't disagree with much, but it's just like, you know what? We're best friends for a reason. We're the 2 best friends that anyone could have. So
Yeah.
so we both gave it a 6. I gave The Hangover a 6, just because for acting, all the actors do great performances. There's one side character. I think Mike Tyson is awful in this movie. A horrible casting
He is
decision.
mostly on cocaine apparently in this movie.
Yeah, and he's fat as shit, dude. He is so big.
Yeah, he's
He's just like,
He wasn't in a good
I do like the
space
part when he's like,
for
oh
this.
man, then Omar killed him, and he's like, respect. Man, what happened to Omar? He's like, don't worry about Omar. He's not with us no more, or whatever he says. I can't do Tyson.
That was not bad. That was not bad.
But all the 3 main guys are amazing. This is like
Yes.
the movie that made Bradley Cooper. You
Yes.
know, he was doing theater productions and stuff before this, and Wet Hot American Summer.
Right.
He's just such a believable asshole that it looked like this was gonna like make his career. He was always gonna be that guy.
Yeah, he's very natural in this movie.
I love all the horrible shit he does, like stealing kids' money and like being mean to them, and like how awful he is.
Just get out of here before these nerds ask me a question. Or
But then
whatever
he's
he
like
says.
really patient with Alan.
Yeah.
Like he's incredibly patient with Alan. I think because he just finds him so entertaining. He says
Yeah.
that line. He's like, "What's up with all these instructions?" He's like a fucking
He's like a
gremlin or
fucking
something.
Gremlin.
Yeah. This is like the first comedic star moment for Ed Helms. And if you look at Ed Helms' career, he's in so many big comedies and
Yeah.
always kills it. And honestly, like, he's supposed to be the straight character, but he's like so tragically hilarious and angry. And then you find out that secretly he's like an animal when he gets drunk and blacks out. You know who he reminds me of? Brian Flemmer. He's Brian Flemmer, like so professional during the day, and then if you take him on like a Vegas trip, he's just like a lunatic.
I hope
This guy, I've seen a lot of Six Sons of Bitches.
I hope Flemmer's girlfriend doesn't beat him.
Yeah, probably. I love that they like. Okay, so I don't know if a lot of people know this, but Ed Helms, he's not wearing like prosthesis or whatever for his teeth.
No.
So he's missing. I, like him, like Stu's character, am missing my adult incisors
Are you
in my
really?
mouth. Yeah, these are implants.
Did not know that.
So
Wow.
I got implants. So what they did is they removed the implants, and he was filming The Office, and he had to go back and forth while he was filming The Office and doing this. And I guess he just like didn't get much sleep, and he had to like put his implant back in and out.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be stronger than teeth. Like you're not supposed to do that.
No,
Go ahead. Talk a little bit about acting.
I mean, it's so like you talked a little bit, or at least when we were talking about what we were going to do for the categories, a little behind the scenes action for you guys. Gabe, you explained like acting, like when we talk about comedies specifically as like a marker of good acting would be if a non-comedic actor puts forth a performance that's genuinely funny and believable. And I don't think Bradley Cooper's obviously an incredible actor.
Yeah.
I don't think he's necessarily the most gifted comedic actor of all time.
Right.
And his performance is hilarious. He's kind of the straight man.
He's like
But-
says little lines that are so funny. It's mostly just like
It's
he's
the way
so
that it's-
funny as a awful person. He's
Right.
like a more normal version of Paul Rudd's character in Wet Hot American Summer.
Yeah, it's written, directed, and casted perfectly so
Yeah.
that everyone is giving the best performance that they can, with the exception of Doug, the guy that plays Doug.
Justin
Just
Bartha's
not a good
fine.
character.
It's just like he doesn't have a lot to work
Yeah,
with.
not great.
He's kind of like weirdly too cool in the car ride back when he's
Yeah.
like, "Hey, looks like we're going home with some money, boys." Or
Yeah,
whatever.
it's like, dude, you just endured an awful experience.
Yeah.
you feel awful.
Yeah, honestly,
You shouldn't be that pumped, even if you have $80,000.
So we haven't even talked about like the star. He was supposed to be like, I guess, the third role, but the big character is Alan. This is like when what a moment for Zach Galifianakis. Like I love Zach Galifianakis even before this, but this was like, oh my God, this is the new comedic genius. He's going to be in
He's
everything.
so funny.
Even his character in
amazing.
Due Date is basically like based off of Alan, probably.
Right.
It's so similar. Jump-started his career. He's the one who really pushes it forward.
Yeah.
He's not my favorite character.
No.
In the second and third movie, they kind of ruin his character because they make him into too much of like an asshole. There's like something more sinister behind his decisions. They
take
almost
his, like-
Phoebe and Friends early on.
Yeah, they take his like sociopathy and make it like way more inflated and scary.
Totally.
It's, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's great in this movie, and he came not out of nowhere, but he just comes through with an MVP performance. And it's
He's so
amazing.
funny, and a lot of it is ad lib that he's doing. He's
Yeah.
just so naturally
It's
funny.
perfect.
If
It's
you've
like-
never seen his show, the Live at the Purple Onion show,
yes,
it's
it's
like
amazing.
so
I
funny.
love Zach Galifianakis' stand.
I agree. Other side actors are all really good besides Mike Tyson. I mean, Brian Callen.
Great.
This Greek character that he does in this in Old School is so good.
So ridiculous.
Mike Epps is funny. I'll be you, Doug. Is so funny. This is like Rob Riggle. This is like the moment that It was this in Step Brothers that just made Rob Riggle into
so
one
good.
of the
There are
funniest
so
people.
many, by the way, there are so many Daily Show alums,
Yeah.
alumni in this.
Oh yeah. And R.I.P. Brody Stevens, dude. He's great in this as the cop who's
Oh,
showing
yeah.
them. You don't trust me, kids. You don't want to be these guys.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
man.
And also, this is a big moment for me. Mike Vallely, the famous skater, is the guy on the highway that works for the tux shop that tosses them the tuxedos.
Whoa.
Yeah, huge moment. So that's a 6 from both of us. Do you have any like final thoughts before we go to Dude, Where's My Car?
No, I think we covered it.
Yeah, it's
No.
just fun. It's well written and
Yeah.
well directed and amazingly casted and acted.
Yeah.
Especially with us knowing who almost got casted. So
Yeah.
now we are gonna do originality.
Okay.
So originality, generally we just talk about, like how creative it was and then did it need to be made?
Right.
With comedies, it's just like, comedies don't necessarily need to be original. If anything, parody movies are like some of my favorite comedies, like Loaded Weapon and movies like that. But there has to be some kind of creative edge. Yeah, especially with the humor. The humor needs to be creative.
It's
It can't
helped
just
out
be-
by having a creative premise.
So let's start with The Hangover since we're already on that.
Right. So The Hangover, I was going to say we should start with that because The Hangover is, I think, is a creative enough, a unique enough premise, like we were talking about with spectacularity, that it in part carries the movie through some of the few lower points that it does have.
Totally.
So in terms of originality, I gave it a 5. It's above average. I don't think that it's the most original movie ever, but I find it hard to think of a comedy that I would give like a 6 or a 7 to that is like extremely original.
Yeah.
Maybe Pineapple Express or something like that. That's just uniquely like a strange
there's
story.
not like a
that's
lot
never been
of
told before.
That's a good point. I think Dumb and Dumber is kind of like an original idea because it's so simple, but it's not like super creative. It just works really well for what it is.
I just think a lot of
but I guess we
comedies
had like
have-
Three Stooges and shit, so like that's kind of like what
Yeah, I
it's
just
like,
think a lot
you
of
know?
comedies have the same basic tropes. They're like buddy comedies. They're like the characters travel somewhere. There's just like, I don't know. It's hard to think of something that's just truly original.
I
But
originally
The Hangover's above average, I think, in originality.
Yeah, I think it's creative in certain ways.
I think the mystery part of it, I think, is what carries this section, makes it original. The
Yeah.
fact that you don't know what actually happened.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to. So I originally was going to give it a 6. I'm going to give it a 5 as well. I remember when I saw this, I remember thinking this was going to change comedies. Like this was like R-rated comedies. When Superbad came out and when this came out, I was like, oh my God, like comedies are about to have an amazing boom. They're going to be really fun. I thought this turned it into like an adventure comedy, which is just so fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's funny. It's not that original. There's even a line, kind of a throwaway line, when they go to see Heather Graham's character, Jade, when they go to her apartment. It cuts, and as they're going up the stairs, all you get is Alan saying, it's got Ted Danson and Magnum PI and that Jewish actor.
Yeah.
It's like, shut up, Alan. And he's talking about Three Men and a Baby, which is about guys who went on a bachelor trip and then woke up the next morning with a baby.
Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah.
And then they're like, he does, and if you go and see Joker, you could tell Todd Phillips is so obsessed with Scorsese, and he is obsessed with like showing his influences, kind of like Quentin Tarantino. Yeah. There's the moment where they do the they show the sunglasses of Leslie Chow, Ken Jeong's character. Wow, we forgot to talk about him in acting. I'll get to Legacy. I'll talk about Ken
Yeah,
Jeong.
I was going to save him.
That's actually telling that we forgot to talk about him in acting.
Yeah, there's too many good performances.
But that visual, that was a visual shout out to the movie Casino, which is the other big famous Vegas movie, which is kind of cool. I like when I see stuff like that. I think it's really smart. Creatively, one thing that really stands out that almost gave it a 6 for me is that I think it's really smart to not show the night of.
Yeah.
And then just show everything that happens after, and then saving that for the end credits, which are the most creative end credits I've ever seen.
Yeah.
That you go, honestly, the end credits for a lot of people when you go to the theater might have been like funnier than the entire movie.
Yeah, I think so. I can remember when I saw it, like everyone in the theater was just,
I have that lasting image of that mature woman sucking on Alan's pee-pee, which is a prosthetic dick that I guess Zach Galifianakis was really embarrassed about. He didn't want to do. So some of the pictures you can see is waving people away. One thing in originality, it revitalized Vegas. Like Vegas is always going to be a place that's fun.
Yeah.
Me and you have gone to Vegas a lot because of our fraternity.
Yeah. You know, Caesar's Palace has since made since this movie they've made their whole premises pager friendly.
Don't ask them that. They will kill you. They really hate when people ask you, did Caesar actually is this a real Caesar's Palace or whatever? Did he actually live here? Don't ask them that. That's something you can find on IMDb. I do gotta say the song choices are either really cool, where Todd Phillips' like obsession with rock really comes out, like the Danzig song.
Yeah.
But then there's also really lame songs. But I think they've really fit the time period and the feel for it. I don't know. It's good. I'm gonna give it a 5. It's original enough. It's above average.
Yeah. I don't think his soundtrack is original, but I do really like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what about Dude, Where's My Car? What would you give that in terms of originality?
I didn't know how to rate.
This is so tough.
I didn't know how to like rate this in terms of originality because there are so many movies of the same ilk
Yeah.
as this movie. but this one seems to be more quotable, like has a more lasting like
Imprint?
imprint on the collective psyche of a bunch of dudes our age.
Yeah. I mean,
but I don't know if it's because it's original. So I gave it a 3, but I
gave it a 3 as well.
But I don't know why, like
I think it's just really tough to rate comedies in terms of originality. I think it's a good idea because when a comedy is really original, it stands out and you have to talk about it. I gave it a 3. I think that okay, so a couple quick notes about like the derivative things from this movie. The quote, "Dude, where's my car? Where's your car, dude?" is from The Big Lebowski.
Yeah.
When he's talking to Steve Buscemi's character. Also, it was originally supposed to be a live action Beavis, or most of the story came from a live action script for Beavis and Butthead.
No way.
And I wish we saw that. Because when Beavis and Butthead, like Made in America or whatever the movie was called, or Go Across America came out, I loved it when I was a kid. I didn't understand it, but I loved it. And I just think that sounds way better. I think the movie, for the most part, was made. It's like the movie Half Baked. Like, it's made by someone who doesn't know what smoking weed, marijuana is like. Or like what they think a caricature of a stoner is. Yeah. Like, ooh, those stoner kids, like in my school, these are like the stoner kids and they're acting like this. And
yeah, they meditate and they give their dogs
they give their
narcotics.
dogs like weed and like everything, when they look around, everything looks like a colorful kaleidoscope.
Well, hey, you don't know what a stoned dog sees.
I know. I was going to say that in Legacy. I wrote that down in my notes that like, hey, we're never going to know how a dog sees something when they're stoned. So maybe they see everything in like purple kaleidoscope colors.
Maybe that's just what they see all the time.
Also, I've been told this movie's better to watch when you're high. So maybe I'm wrong about this. Maybe it is like perfect for high people. I just think it's a really shallow movie that isn't very clever and it's fun.
Right.
But the idea of like a fun movie about like a forgotten night before, they kind of had it down for 9 years before The Hangover came out.
Yeah, they did.
So like I have to respect that.
Yeah, I feel like it has kudos for that. So like maybe it shouldn't be maybe it should be a 4 or something.
I'm gonna give it a 3 still. I'm gonna stand my ground, but
yeah, I'm just gonna keep it because I'm too lazy and I'm afraid that my pen will make too much sound and the podcast the microphones will pick it up.
It will. So
I'm just gonna keep it a 3. Our rating system really only exists as a means for us to start a conversation about something. So
fair enough. Okay, so that's a 3 from both of us. Let's move on to Legacy. With Legacy this time in the guise of comedy podcast.
A little bit different.
Let's talk about Legacy in terms of like how well did it age? Both in terms of how well did it age in terms of like could it be made today? You know, there's a lot of like movement to not have politically incorrect comedies. And, you know, regardless of your opinion on that, some things still make you cringe when you watch them because of it. That's just a different time. I certainly liked movies when they were allowed to make fun of things, but I also understood that it would hurt certain people. But also, how well did it age in terms of like, is it still funny? Or are you like, why the hell did I like that? Like a lot of old Disney movies, Disney Channel movies. Let's start with Dude, Where's My Car?
So Dude, Where's My Car? I'm just going to leave this as a 4 because for some reason, like we're saying, like Dude, Where's My Car latched on.
Yeah.
People, I mean, it's still everyone knows what Dude, Where's My Car is. Even like nobody knows what Black Knight is.
It does have a good
starring
legacy.
Martin Lawrence. It just I don't know what about it, I guess. But, you know,
this movie made $74 million.
It made a ton of money, and everyone still knows what Dude, Where's My Car is, and I'm sure that some buffoon says that to Ashton Kutcher like every 4 days.
Yeah. Oh, he's never going to live that. Well, he also did like that 70s show. He's also a moron.
He's basically just Kelso in this movie.
Yeah.
I mean,
he is kind of like Kelso in this. Like he's dumber as Kelso, I guess, but in this, sometimes he's dumber. I don't know. I think that's fair. I think it has. I mean, the fact that we're still talking about it, the fact that people were excited when we said we were doing The Hangover versus Dude, Where's My Car, tells you that regardless of how stupid that movie is, it has a good
lives
legacy.
on. Yeah.
But in terms of how well it aged, the funny thing is that Nick and I both expected it to be really politically incorrect, and it is in certain ways. But at times you could tell that they're actually attempting to be PC,
Right,
which is really
yeah.
weird. They say like that the one stripper at that club, she says that she's gender challenged.
Yeah, because Ashton Kutcher calls her something else.
Yeah, or like you're a man or something, and then like
And then she
she's
goes,
gender-
"Hey, I'm gender challenged," and
which
it's
I don't
like-
know if that's like an appropriate nomenclature.
no, but
for
at
it,
the time,
yeah.
like I feel like maybe that was like their attempt at, like you said, their attempt at
There
trying
are
to
moments
correct
they're
their
like-
incorrectness.
There was another line that they say where they were like actually trying to be, I can't remember it. They were like trying not to be, or they were trying to be PC.
Right.
But then it's also like so sexist because like a lot of the female characters
Yeah.
are really one-dimensional, like their girlfriends.
I mean, it's still like a dude-driven buddy comedy.
And it's also like Hollywood, you know, until we got Crazy Rich Asians, like Hollywood was just like very racist towards Asian people. You know, you can go back to like 16 Candles with Long Duck Dong. Or no, you can go before that. Breakfast at Tiffany's where Mickey Rourke, or not Mickey Rourke.
And then
Wayne Rooney? Wayne Rooney, that's his name. Yeah, like all the Asian stuff, it's just really, it doesn't sit right. I don't think that weed makes you look at things like they're a kaleidoscope, so that's like aged in like a
maybe
stupid way,
it
but maybe it
does.
does for a dog.
if you're a dog,
Also, why would Ashton Kutcher, when he looks through the kaleidoscope at the tailor, why would he be like, oh, whoa? It's like, I've looked in a kaleidoscope. It's pretty. I don't like react like I'm having an orgasm.
he's full of childhood wonder.
True. I guess that's it. I think the blind camp scene like has aged poorly in terms of political correctness, but it's so like perhaps it's like that, but it's just so, it's comedy gold.
Dude, I still think that scene is hilarious.
It's so
It's something
funny.
about the way that the kids are acting in it, though, that's funny.
Oh, the first kid is so funny. The one swinging the bat. It's hilarious.
it's great.
It reminds me of
a really funny
the blind
scene.
kid in Dumb and Dumber.
Yes.
Uh,
yeah.
Pretty girl.
Pretty girl.
Yeah. The visuals have really aged horrendously, and the music.
Oh, for sure.
The music like takes you out of it. But I'll tell you one thing that's aged perfectly. Those
Ashton
Adidas.
Kutcher?
Yes, but those Adidas jumpsuits are fucking dope. Yeah. So that's what did you give it?
I'm going to give it a 4.
Okay, I gave it a 3.
Yeah.
I'm a little less
I just
generous.
think that there are enough things in it that live on that I'm like, you know what? Kudos to whatever they did right. 'Cause,
Hey, fair enough.
hey, look at us.
Hey, look at us. Who would have thought? Yeah, so now let's move on to legacy for The Hangover.
Yeah. What did you give it?
I want to give it a 7. I'm not going to give it a 7. I want to give it a 7 because it's still so funny to me. It's still so rewatchable, but certain things just rub me the wrong way. So I'm going to give it a 6.
Okay. So-
Leslie Chow is the number one
Yeah.
thing. If we're talking about how well has it aged, Ken Jeong as a person and Ken Jeong as Leslie Chow, maybe not aged that well. So let's kind of get into a discussion about that.
No, so that's why I gave it a 5 because
Interesting.
like Gabe said, we expected watching Dude, Where's My Car for there to be something outlandishly not okay in today's climate.
Yeah.
There really isn't, but there's a couple things in The Hangover that are like pretty cringy. Like Ken Jeong is great. He came out of nowhere. He gave a hilarious performance, but it's like very much a character or like a racist caricature of an Asian man.
Yeah.
It's like it's a little much. It's a little over the top. It's genuinely hilarious, but like it just doesn't age well. Like I don't want to be the PC police, but like come on.
It's just like
It's too much.
the whole like
Yeah.
Asian dude with a little dick thing like is just like it's crazy that he was even into doing that.
Yeah. He's the one that suggested that he be naked.
And doing the like prosthetic dick for that or whatever.
And Phillips was like, yeah, no, you should be naked.
I just think like Ken Jeong was so funny. I remember when I was a kid, when I was in high school and I watched this and I loved it. I thought it was so funny. I walked out of the theater being like, Zach Galifianakis and Ken Jeong are so funny because I was younger then. And I thought, oh my God, Ken Jeong needs to be in everything. And then he was in everything. And it just like now, you know, he's still funny. He still seems like an awesome person. What a cool life story.
Yeah.
It's just like his shtick, it's getting old. It's like, it's just, I didn't laugh as much. I do have to say though, I still laugh really hard when he goes, catch it! I die of laughter at that part. The homophobic language hasn't really aged well. You just can't say that kind of stuff, but I still kind of laugh when he does. I'm not going to say it, but he does the paging doctor, whatever. And then his voicemail is hilarious.
Or
don't.
No,
that's
Phil's.
gay. Yeah, Phil's one.
Phil's, don't text me.
I'll tell you one thing that will last forever in terms of the legacy of this movie. The gif of Alan at the blackjack table with the like calculus going over him, like that's gonna last forever. Yeah, I'm still gonna use that gif when I'm like 90 years old texting my boys. And then just a note in terms of like how well it's aged for me, like I really don't. It's not believable in terms of like I really don't see how Stu and Phil would have been friends in real life. I guess Doug is like the person that brings them together. Yeah, but Phil's such an unbelievable asshole to Stu and undermines every single thing he does and tells him to pay for everything that like, I know for me, when that stuff happens, like it cuts deep into my core. But then you kind of get that nice moment when he breaks up with his girlfriend at the wedding. Yeah. And Phil's like smiling, like he's like genuinely happy for his boy.
Yeah. Well, I think, that's like, I think that speaks to Stu's character though. Yeah. Stu is like the biggest pushover. Like maybe one day he'll yell at
I think secretly he was. Who knows, man? Yeah, well, I think secretly he was just like more aware of Stu's life and the problems in Stu's life than Stu was.
Right. I just want to say that with this movie as well, a lot of the legacy of The Hangover comes from improv lines.
Oh yeah, so we'll actually save that because let's talk.
I just love that it comes from improv.
So a 5 out of 7 from Nick and a 6 out of 7 from me. Save that for right now. Let's talk about quotability and rewatchability as our last category.
Let's close this baby out with some quotes.
Yeah, so basically, we were wondering what new metric we should use for comedies. And I think that a movie doesn't necessarily need to be rewatchable. There are great movies I've seen, like Requiem for a Dream is an amazing movie. I really love it. But if you rewatch that, you're a sick person. Like it makes you just feel so awful. There are good movies that aren't rewatchable. But I think comedies kind of need to be rewatchable. Yeah. The best kind of comedy is the one that you walk out of a theater and you're like, fuck, I can't wait to see that again because I forgot this quote or I missed this quote. And then on top of that, I think really good comedies are quotable. They're things that it's not necessarily just that it's quotable in general. It's like it kind of finds its way into your conversations with your friends and family and you just find yourself quoting it. I mean, it's best when you don't even realize where you got a quote from, but you say it all the time. Right. And I think like a really good comedy is that. So that being said, start with The Hangover in terms of quotability.
Let's start with Dude, Where's My Car?
Actually, I agree with that because The Hangover is
so we got to end with some Hangover quotes. But
I agree.
Dude, Where's My Car? I gave it a 4 because it's like that same thing where I just feel like if you compare it to its stupid idiot peers, it's not like that much worse than the other dumb idiot movies, and it has like enough quotes in it that are great, like the Zoltan thing. Everyone did that for like ever after this movie.
Long. That's a great point. I'm going to give it a 4. I think there are, so in terms of quotes that still, like I still say, like I have found myself in the last year multiple times saying, Daddy, I want to ride that one. Yeah. Me too, son. Me too. Or the like, screw the universe. Like I know Elliot and Daniel, I used to say that to them like all the time. Yeah. Zoltan, obviously. I forgot about how much I said shibby and leave a message after the shibby.
Let's see.
And then
And
everyone
then,
quoted that.
and
No,
then.
you don't. Oh, so actually, kind of a fun fact. The Chinese restaurant where the lady says "and then,"
yeah,
there's
this is
Mandarin writing for their sign, and the sign really means like "and what else is there to say" or something. It's like it's something
Basically
translated
says-
into "and then."
Yeah.
Which is cool on them for doing that.
Yeah.
And where's your car, dude? Like everyone says, dude, where's my car? You got any quotes that like kind of stuck out to you this time watching it?
You think you nailed them all, but I did really like the it's not a costume, it's an interstellar jumpsuit.
Yeah, dude, all the Zoltan guys are
It's
so
an
funny.
interstellar jumpsuit. It's great.
Every moment with that guy Jeff, the character Jeff, as the Zoltan guy, when he won't cut the music for Zoltan,
Yeah.
he's like, oh, sorry. I like the part when it was such a random line when he's just like, I'm sensing something very Canadian about this place based off the signs. And then I used to say, I remember when I was a kid, I used to do the honorable. And he's like,
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, are you saying honorable?
I think you're trying to say honorable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the cookie's fortune. I fucking love that part. And the
yeah.
cookie's fortune.
Yeah.
Yeah, and 2 fortune cookies. Yeah, I mean, it's not like those ones have lasted a while. That's why I'm going to give it an average, like a 4.
Yeah.
You know, like I said with the Master of Disguise, like certain quotes just live on forever.
Yeah.
Let's end at least the category section with quotability for The Hangover.
The Hangover I gave a 6.
I wanted to give it a 6, but I started listing out quotes that I say often and quotes that I love, and how it's not even just how quotable it is, but how rewatchable the movie is, because you got to think about that in the category as well.
Yeah.
I could rewatch The Hangover all the time. I've watched it so many times that I probably know every single line to it, unfortunately, because it kind of ruins, later viewings of it.
Yeah.
I got to give it a 7. It's so endlessly quotable and
Nice.
it's so rewatchable.
Yeah. No, I get it.
It's not my favorite comedy. There are probably like 6 or 7 other comedies I would give a 7 to.
Yeah.
I just think that it's gonna always exist in our lives.
Yeah. No, it absolutely is. It's like, it's definitely one of those, like, it's one of those movies that just kind of like, it meshes with your generation, and you're just like, everyone's seen The Hangover like 4 times that I know.
Exactly.
sure.
Because it's always out there. I don't know.
Yeah. There's still things I quote all the time. I quote like because I wear a man purse to work all the time. I always say, oh, it's a satchel.
Indiana Jones wears one.
Yeah. Indiana Jones wears one.
Even random ones for me, like I always say like, that's a fake laugh, by the way.
Yeah.
But then I always think of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, the movie
also.
manages to have a Bin Laden and a Holocaust joke
Oh, and there's
in it, and they're both hilarious.
So the Holocaust joke just works so well because it's ad lib.
Yeah.
And it's also like they wanted to keep it in the movie because if you can make a Holocaust joke work in a movie, that's a great line.
Yeah.
I didn't know they give out rings in the Holocaust. Ad libbing that is absolutely amazing.
Probably can't after 9/11.
Thanks a lot,
Thanks a
Bin
lot,
Laden.
Bin Laden.
I say this all the time, like, we are back. We are getting Doug back.
Yeah, it's a good quote.
I love I don't know why I quote so much Ed Helms, but I love that I have something to show you in his underwear, or the riddle me that.
Yeah. Riddle me that. I quote all the
Rogaine,
time.
check. And don't forget to use it. Using of the Rogaine, check. I remember, I think in high school, like right afterwards, I used to do if it's no big deal, the Leslie Chow one. I mean, that's the only one. And then the Rooflin. There you go with that word, Rooflin. What the hell, Rooflin? Come on, man. I'll be your Doug.
There's just so many good lines. The dog we're looking for is a white.
Yeah. Picked it up at 5 a.m. this morning. Parked in the middle of Las Vegas Boulevard. Yeah, that is weird. There's also a note that says, couldn't find the meter, but here's $4. So good. Tigers love pepper. They hate cinnamon. That's an amazing
There's too
line.
many good ones.
Yeah, it's good. And she beats him. Hey, that was twice and I was out of line. Yeah, it's just like almost every single line by Alan. After the Hard Rock, I blacked out. It was like infinite blackness.
That laugh he does after, like,
so good. It's like a depraved laugh. Yeah, it's just endlessly quotable. It's endlessly rewatchable.
She's grossed out by semen.
Oh yeah,
That's a great line.
Because she's grossed out by semen.
It was, yeah, and it just sticks with people of our age.
Totally. So let's add it up.
Okay, my overall rating for Hangover is 28.
Okay.
My overall rating for Dude.
Wow, yours is way lower than me.
Dude, Where's My Car is 18.
Okay, wait, hold on. I gotta have mine.
I know the
Okay, I gave The Hangover 31 out of 35. Wait, what'd you say yours was?
oh nope, sorry, it was 29. I think 29. I said 28. It's 29.
That's pretty good for comedies. You know, I'm not rating these total ratings aren't out of all movies. Like I wouldn't give a 31 to most drama movies.
It's a very arbitrary process that we have here.
Yeah, and then for Dude, Where's My Car, mine added up to like 15, which is kind of fucked up. But
it's not really representative, I feel, of your actual opinion on the movie, but I give it an 18, which isn't super high.
So the thing is like mine is 15 out of 35. I would say if it's on like 100% scale, I would say like I'd give like a 70 to Dude, Where's My Car and like a 92 for Hangover in terms of comedies.
Yeah, totally.
Let's move on then to accolades.
Do some accolades.
I love doing these accolades. So let's start with MVP. Who won the movies for you?
The Zach Galifianakis, Alan.
Yeah, I think he is the MVP.
Right.
Like his career just boomed from it.
Yeah.
He's amazing. He's so funny. And if we're talking about how rewatchable and quotable it is, a lot of that is
I think
him.
he has to be the MVP for me.
For me, it's Ed Helms, just because I've seen The Hangover so many times. I've seen Dude, Where's My Car probably like 6 times, but I've seen The Hangover like 20 plus times.
Are you the Ed Helms of our friend group?
Oh, I'm the Ed Helms of any friend.
Are you the Stu of everyone's? Yeah, of any.
There
of your
are
friend
some
groups?
lines though that remind me of Clay. The one when she's like, and that like dirty girl that's up on that bar and like up on that pole. That's someone's daughter. When he says that, that's like. Ed Helms for me, it's just because like because I've seen it so many times, he's still so funny to me. And he's the one who keeps me laughing even when I know all the lines. Do you have an LVP for either of these movies?
It's Sean William Scott.
Same with me.
Because like I didn't,
or Mike Tyson, but he's not in enough.
I mean, he's
like
he's not expected to be like Sean William Scott is like truly bad in Dude, Where's My Car. He's not very funny either.
He's hilarious in Role Models. He's great
weird
in the American
he's
Pie
not
movies.
like supposed to be bad. Like he isn't typically bad at kind of dumb comedies, but he just is awful.
I actually, I'd probably do Sean William Scott, but as a second LVP, I do early 2000s editing techniques.
Yeah.
The part when they did that fuzz that went
where they get tased or whatever.
They get tased and the whole screen gets
tased
white
in both of these
and
movies.
like fuzzy. Yeah. That's it.
Well, weird.
And we didn't even really talk about our girl Cleo King when we were in acting.
I thought you were going to say her for MVP, honestly.
She's like almost the MVP, but she plays a cop in everything.
Yeah, she's a cop.
She's so great. Cleo King, you guys don't know her name, but she's like fucking hilarious. I love her in Pineapple Express. And he's like, oh, I think I know that bitch.
Yeah.
It's so good.
She's so good in both these
Do you
movies.
have a best scene from The Hangover? Since it's the movie we liked more.
Oh, man. There are so many. Do you have one? I know you have one prepared.
I really like the way they do them waking up in the hotel.
Oh, yeah. That's
the
amazing.
camera shot that they have on Ed Helms where it's like attached to his body. No one has ever played a better hungover person ever
than Ed Helms.
No. Bradley Cooper is pretty good when they're at the table and Ed Helms is like, you know what? I don't even remember dinner. And he's like, fuck, I know. How do we get this messed up or whatever? Like his eyes are so good.
Yeah.
But it's either that or the scene where they meet Heather Graham. Not because like Heather Graham is great, but you get the Holocaust line and then the amazing moment out of nowhere when the cops bust in the door and they're like, shut that baby up, shut that baby up. And it's so good. Or the wedding reception with the Dan Band. I got to give a huge...
the Dan Band. That scene is hilarious. I was going to say the hungover scene where they're eating Breakfast is a great little scene.
Oh yeah.
Don't you ever say that Heather Graham is not great ever again. Heather Graham is...
Did I say that? No, she's fine in that scene. Like Heather Graham is like, I grew up, Austin Powers 2, The Spy Who Shagged Me is like one of my favorite comedies of all time. And Heather Graham was like probably like third on my list of girls that I had a big crush on when I was a kid.
All right.
It's like Lindsay Lohan. Why am I blanking on the Elizabeth Hurley
Oh, there you go.
and Heather Graham?
Ooh, nice.
Oh yeah. Austin Powers really influenced that.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's
Yeah.
really weird. Okay.
Let's see.
Do you have like a worst scene? Or wait, you didn't say a best scene, did you?
No, you know what? It's really hard to pick a favorite scene in The Hangover. I guess it's. I mean, when they come back and they decide to count cards, and with the scene that's now immortalized as a GIF, that's a hilarious scene too.
Oh yeah, just Bradley Cooper like flipping off the security cameras. Is so good.
So
He
good.
can't lose. And when Ed Helms sits down, he's like, "Let's play some blackjack."
Yes, yeah.
So good. Man, it's so quotable.
I don't know. I don't know if there's an a least
worst scene in
valuable
either?
scene or a worse scene.
I guess the whole scene at like Nelson's house is not that good.
No. Yeah, in Dude, Where's My Car? That's not a good scene.
Especially like that guy playing Michael Bolton is so funny. It was just like a poor usage of him as just like this caricature of a stoner.
Yeah, he's not very good.
All right, I got a couple questions for you then.
Sure.
What are your favorite types of donuts? Because there are like so many
Damn
donuts.
it, I was going to
in-
ask that one.
Oh wait, I got a better one then, or a different one.
Well, you can still ask. You already asked it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Jelly filled.
I love jelly-filled donuts. but
Jelly, specifically,
those haven't aged well.
cream-filled donuts are disgusting monstrosities that
wrong.
nobody should eat.
Wrong. I love cream-filled donuts.
No,
I
you're
like the
wrong.
white hot cream.
It's not hot. It's cold. It's
The
nasty. It's inside of
jelly
it's
ones are
really gross.
good, but now when I eat them at 27, like I just feel so gross.
Oh, I do too, but that's the point of donuts.
I think I like
dude.
the ones with coconut shavings on them.
Those
or
are good, you old grandma.
Pink donuts, like ones with the pink frosting.
Where they
I
taste
don't
like
even-
strawberries.
Yeah, they're so
Strawberry
good.
frosting. My favorite
maple
donuts.
oh no, maple donuts are my favorite.
Yeah,
what
maple
the fuck am I
bars.
talking about?
Maple bars, and there's
Cream,
like
custard filled maple bars.
blueberry. Like there's always like a blueberry donut that looks like a normal, just small brown circle donut, but it's blueberries on the inside.
Oh, yeah.
That donut is at every donut shop. Find it, eat it. It's the best.
Okay.
Donut old fashions are all,
want an
or
old-
sorry, blueberry old fashioned
I want a
donuts.
donut right
are
now.
also the best.
How many people do you think voluntarily like took roofies in Vegas after this movie?
I don't know, but one of the side effects of roofies is memory loss.
Yeah, I love that. Hey, Doc, we don't remember anything from last night. Remember? It's so funny that I don't know what they took because roofies would make you go to sleep probably, not like have the best night
Probably
ever and
not.
be the biggest legends. Hang out with Wayne Newman or whatever in the photos and Carrot Top and do cocaine with him. What do we think about like Zach Galifianakis and like Ken Jeong's careers now? Are you like tired of them?
No, I'm not. I don't think I'll ever really be tired of Zach Galifianakis because
neither.
I just think that he's so funny. Ken Jeong, I couldn't give two flaming shits about.
I like Ken Jeong as a person. He's really he's
no,
cool
he's
on
cool.
Hot Ones. I think he was kind of cool in his stand up. I just think like the most of his stand up was talking about like how the hangover changed his life. And
Yeah, I
it's
don't.
like,
I mean, Zach Galifianakis.
Go write
I
some
think
jokes.
Is,
Yeah.
Zach Galifianakis, I think, is a brilliant comedian.
I agree.
We're gonna move on to like a recommendation. I'm definitely recommend watching
the Live at the Purple Onion.
Yeah, that and then the Between Two Ferns movie is actually, I think there are a lot of really funny parts of that movie.
Yeah, but it's like overall fucking terrible.
Yeah, overall it's not a good movie, but it's funny enough.
I
in
think like
certain
the
parts.
first half is really funny, and then John Hamm is so funny in
Yes,
that movie.
yeah.
And all the side characters are good. I don't know. I would recommend even go before that. Out Cold was like the first movie I really loved with Zach Galifianakis. He's hilarious in it. I
Just
think
watch
it's like
all of Zach
really
Galifianakis' stand-up.
I
He's
agree
hilarious.
with that too. I also think like Cedar Rapids is a good recommendation for Ed Helms movies. That's like
Yeah.
a good little like indie comedy. And then if you really want to get like serious about this forgetting the night before, how about the night of the TV show on HBO?
Oh, so dark.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked up.
Oh man.
But you know, it's the same story without the comedy.
None of it. Zero of the comedy.
Next week we are going to be doing, and this time we're actually going to do it. I know we fucked up and said that we were doing A Quiet Place, but I think you guys are going to enjoy this one more. And we will do the Quiet Place Bird Box one later.
Yeah.
Next week, we will be doing The Empire Strikes Back versus The Last Jedi. And we're going to be doing that with the Well Actually podcast. And on the same day, we're going to record a Well Actually episode. Well Actually is a podcast for nerds who think that they know everything. And this time, Nick thinks he knows everything about Back to the Future, and he's going to do the first movie on there. So look out for their episode. It should come out like probably the day after or something, or maybe on Thursday.
Yeah,
and then
something like that.
Yeah, and then look out for our episode with them. Please, if you aren't already, please go follow us on social media. You can find our Instagram.com/facingoffpod, or just look up Facing Off Podcast. Twitter, we are also at facingoffpod.
Yep.
Our email, we haven't gotten emails from you guys, so please harass us with emails. Like, I check it every day. You can say horrible things to me. facingoffpodcast@gmail.com. We would love to hear what your ratings are for this.
Yes, please.
What your favorite quotes are. If we missed anything, please let us know. And then, do you got a send-off?
I do.
And please rate, review, and subscribe.
I was going to say, rate, review, subscribe. You do your send-off first. I got one.
Sultan!
My balls!
What a random one.